is up, everyone? This is David from Bronx Banter coming at you with a little bit of a different setup. Let me know what you guys think. It's definitely still in the works. Got a little bit of my Yankee gear in this shot. Got to decorate the background, fix some things up in general, but super excited. Each and every video, I'm just trying to improve and make it better for you all. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. We're only going to get better. But if you have any suggestions or things like that down in the comments below, let me know. And hopping right into this very special episode for the loyal fans, the fans that have been watching for a while already. This is Hot Takes episode 3. Shout out to you guys if you commented down below in Hot Takes episode 2. Let's see if you're featured in this episode. Hopping right into the first take of this episode, shout out to Nicholas, man. He said, hashtag hot takes. What if Michael King becomes a major piece in the trade package for Juan Soto? Is there still a strong possibility of the Yankees signing YAMAMOTO? So there's kind of a two-parter. First one is, what if Michael King becomes a major piece in the trade package for Juan Soto? It would hurt. I'm not sure if this is just me coping with the idea of this already, because news have been going around already about this happening. But I would be able to. It's so tough because we're only getting 1 year of Juan Soto. We don't know if we're going to re-sign him. I know everyone knows about this already, but I would be not as bothered by it if it was Michael King, and I've heard it would take Michael King and some cash, like some money. I would be okay if that was the case. I wouldn't be okay if it was Michael King and a handful of other prospects, because I value Michael King very highly, and I know he has a very high trade value right now, but I think he's only going to get better. So I don't want to trade him right away right now, or really at all. I think he's such a needed asset, a part of our team, especially when we don't know what Carlos Rodon is going to turn into, especially if we don't know if we're going to sign Yamamoto, if we're even going to, we lost Sevy already. Not that that was much of a loss from last season. We'll miss you, Sevy. We don't know if we're going to re-sign Frankie Montas, and even if we do, we don't know what kind of Frankie Montas we're going to get. We don't know what kind of Nestor. There's so many questions about rotation, even with Rodon as well. Like, the only guarantee in this rotation for the second year in a row is going to be Cole. And there is minor uncertainty with King, right? Because he's only had 8 starts last season. But I feel much more confident in him giving us a good outing rather than Rodon or really anyone else other than Cole. So it would hurt a lot to give up that type of piece and what he means to our roster. And let's say our starting pitching is rolling on all cylinders. You can move him as a long reliever in the bullpen. And so it's going to really hurt to miss out on him if we do end up getting rid of him. I personally think we could go many other routes through this trade without having to give up King. And while we're at it, not having to give up Dominguez or Volpe as well. We could definitely make a trade without having to get rid of any of those guys for us, because they're our future. And moving on kind of to the second part of this hot take, is there a strong possibility of the Yankees signing Yamamoto? Absolutely. A whole bunch of news has been coming out about it. If you haven't already, check out my videos on Yamamoto and what I feel about it. Also dropped a blueprint video, including Yamamoto, saying that the Yankees have to get him and for the contract that I believe they should sign him for. So Yamamoto, the Yankees desperately need, but the only issue with it is that there's so many other teams that can provide a lot of money to Yamamoto that are also going after him. So that's also kind of what scares me throughout this whole entire process as well. But we'll see what ends up happening. But I feel like Yamamoto or Soto has to be a Yankee this year. Both of them should be. If neither of them are, there's going to be a riot in the streets, in the subway, everywhere. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really hope you're loving the show so far. Thank you for all the support. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It'll truly mean the world. Now back to the show. Moving on to the second hot takes of this episode. Shout out to Hybrid Kid. Honestly, really loved your hot take. This was very interesting. I feel like it's been a topic that got pushed under the burner a bit, obviously, with the offseason going on. Everyone's talking about Soto, Yamamoto, and all these other names, but not looking internally at what the Yankees are going to do with their roster. But Hybrid Kid says, if Peraza and Volpe are on this field at the same time, Peraza belongs at short, full stop. What a take. And I'm a rebuttal with another hot take, but I'm a rebuttal with my own strong opinion on this. I disagree. Shout out to you, man. Honestly, you had, in my opinion, I'm gonna award you with the best hot take of this episode, but I still have to disagree with you. Just because I think Peraza is gonna be our future third baseman. A lot of people don't agree with me on this. A lot of people don't believe it. People see Peraza as a trade piece. If not, of course, our shortstop, just as like you said. But I think he's going to be our third baseman. I don't know how much longer DJ's got in the tank. Who knows if next season DJ's just going to flop? I don't want that. I love DJ, but we don't know what's happening with DJ. He's shown greatness. He's also shown he struggled within the last year and a half as well. But I think Peraza is transitioning perfectly into becoming our third baseman. You already see the Yankees doing that, so maybe that's why I'm kind of already in that mindset. But personally, I disagree. I think it will be Volpe at short, and it'll be Peraza at third. And if Peraza's not at third, I think then he's going to get traded. I understand the hot take, but personally, that's what I would do if I was the GM. But honestly, man, shout out to you, Hybrid Kid. Love that hot take. Keep them coming. And Ed the Juggalo, man, your name's so funny. Shout out to you, man. I always see you in the comments down below, sparking up conversation between us. It's awesome, man. Shout out to you. Hope you're doing well. And along with Hybrid Kid and Nicholas, hope you guys are all doing well, and all of my viewers. But he said, hot take. This is less of a hot take and more of a question. Do you think Stanton can make a bounce back like how he was with the Marlins? Or do you think the whole hidden lab is just a bust and his career is over? So if what you're referring to as the hidden lab is him going to like drive line and adjusting and facing his swing just as like Mookie Betts have and Freddie Freeman had, and look at the season they produced, if that's what you're referring to, then I understand what you're talking about. I know what you're saying. And then if you're asking, do I think Stanton can bounce back like the Marlins? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this is no shit at Giancarlo Stanton. I love him. And I feel like it's going to come off as I'm a hater of him because I also, not to sound like that, but my most popular video was me talking about Giancarlo Stanton and how he was struggling. But I love Giancarlo Stanton. I love Giancarlo Stanton. I currently have a jersey of Giancarlo Stanton, and my only Yankee jersey is Giancarlo Stanton. So I really, really do like him. But the truth is the truth. He's not going to come back to where he was with the Marlins, getting 59 home runs and winning the MVP. Now, do I think he's going to bounce back in the sense that he's going to do better than last year? I feel like he has to. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, I can't imagine seeing him go even another half a season struggling as much as he did last year. So 100% he's going to bounce back. And if he doesn't bounce back, I almost feel like maybe this is a hot take. And I know people want this to happen, but I'm going to go as far as saying it will happen. Is if by the All-Star break, he doesn't figure it out, closing into the postseason, if we're in contention, I think we may have to end up DFAing him or finding a way to expend him because he cannot put up the same numbers he did last year. Like I said, I broke down the math, and I know it sounds crazy to say, but this is hot takes episode. He was just as productive at the plate, or almost as bad as Joey Gallo was with his tenure with the Yankees. That's how bad Giancarlo Stanton has been last year. So he cannot repeat that again. So I do think he's going to bounce back, not as much as the Marlins. If I were to make a prediction, I would say he's going to bounce back to have 30 homers, low 30s. If he goes over 35 homers, I'm going to be super grateful. I don't think he's going to come back with the average, because if you don't know about Stanton, he was a sneaky average hitter. Even in his MVP year, he hit 280 with like 59 bombs. That's Judge level. I mean, obviously Judge beat both of those numbers, but that's really good. But I think he's just going to turn into just a power hitter, maybe like a Kyle Schwarber type, except Kyle Schwarber does have a good on-base percentage compared to Stanton. I see him getting low 30 bombs, maybe around 80 RBIs. But even if he does produce and bounce back in that way, that's not worthy enough of giving him, I believe it's 31 mil or however much mil he's getting paid. Now, I know some of it's from the Marlins, but either way, Giancarlo Stanton, you're due to bounce back. We're rooting for you to bounce back. I don't think he's going to bounce. He won't actually bounce back from the Marlins. And I would just be happy if he could get us 35 home runs, 30 to 35. Shout out to all you guys for those hot takes in episode 3. Again, if you want to be featured in the next hot takes episode 4, drop them down in the comments below. I'm only taking the hottest takes. Shout out to everyone that commented. A lot more engagement from episode 3 or from episode 2 into episode 3. I felt bad not being able to answer everyone's hot takes, but if you want to be featured in the next one and you kind of competing with everyone else, drop the hottest take you got. I see you guys dropping questions, but drop your hot takes, bold takes, and I'll react to them down in the comments below with hashtag hot takes. Hey, what is up, guys? If you liked this episode, please make sure to like it, comment down below, and subscribe, and watch what YouTube suggests would be a great video for you. You're not going to want to miss all the latest Yankees news and topics going on. Listen, Judge wants you to subscribe. The Martian wants you to subscribe, so make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.